Welcome back, guys, to episode 4 of the Vegan Bikini Prep Diaries. I am one of your hosts, Brooke. You guys might know me as Miss Meatless Muscle, and I'm here with my co-host, Belinda. Belinda, what's up? How are you
Hi,
doing?
everybody. Episode 4. I'm so glad we're keeping this up. It's so fun. And thank you to everybody that's been listening and tuning in. We've been getting quite a lot of views for a baby podcast, so it's really exciting. And we love sharing all of this with you guys. We do it with each other anyway, so it's fun to hit record and just talk it out. So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, thanks so much for the love, guys. My YouTube has grown like crazy just from this. So I'm so glad
Yay. So
we
glad to hear
decided
that.
to do this. And yeah, so with that, we are going to start off with prep updates. So you are a week post show. Where are you at? You're still in prep. We're not
Yes.
counting you out yet.
Doesn't it feel like my show was a year ago? I
Yeah.
can't believe it's only been a week and a half. Feels like it was like another lifetime ago. Yeah, so I'm still in prep. I honestly took last week off of prep. I wasn't fully off of prep in the sense that Monday through Friday, I still ate my prep foods. I just ate more of everything. And I cut my cardio in half. I just did cardio here and there when I had some time. And then my parents were visiting Friday through Sunday. So I fully took off then. No training, no cardio, no focusing on my steps and eating whatever I wanted, which may or may not have been the right thing to do. Time will tell. I'm going to check in with myself in a few days. But the way I rationalized it in my head was that I'm either going to be competing in less than 4 weeks or around less than 7. I will commit to a show when I'm ready. So I think my body did need a little bit of a break before I go pedal to the metal again now for this next home stretch. And it might not only be 7 weeks. I might also do Universe. So then that means I have another 10 weeks to go. So the way I looked at it was 3 days kind of eating whatever I wanted. It didn't go too crazy. I didn't eat anything fried. So that makes a big difference for anyone that, is in a cut or fat loss phase and wants to deviate off their plan for a little bit for whatever reason. Honestly, as long as you don't eat fried food, the damage you do is pretty small, I think. So I purposely did not order fries when I was out, even though I really wanted them. I didn't. And yeah, my weight's coming back down, I think, and my body's back to where I think it was the week prior. I'm not stepping on the scale yet. And to all those listening, you might think, oh, but Belinda and Brooke, you guys must not be afraid of the scale. You step on the scale all the time. Listen, everybody, the whole reason you shouldn't be attached to the scale is because it's a moving target. You might think like when you lose 20 pounds, you'll be so happy, and you will be, but it doesn't mean the work's done and it doesn't mean your goals don't change. So even though we're in fantastic shape right now, we're both in contest prep. The scale is still a pain point. Like I have a number in my head that I think I want to see, and whether it's rational or not, I try not let it ruin my day if the number isn't what I want it to be. So that being said, I'm not quite ready to step on the scale yet, and I'll do it in a few days. Just I wanted to get a few days of prep work in, but all my clothes are still fitting the same. And I mean, I feel like I still look like I'm in prep. I don't think I totally canceled all my hard workout. Just need a few more days under the gun here, and we'll see what I look like later this week and go from there. So either 4 weeks out, 7 weeks out, going to see how I feel. Life is getting busy. As you know, summer is here. Plans are being made. Spring is here. You want to be outside. You want to do things. People are making plans. And So I just kind of want to see how the next few weeks go. I'm not going to sign up for my show until I'm 100% sure I'm going to do it. So we'll see. But yeah, back in prep, back in the thing. Took last week off. Back at it this week. Yesterday, back at it. Yesterday was Monday. Today's Tuesday. Back at it fully. Cardio, steps, nutrition, etc. So back at it. Yeah.
Back at it.
Back
So,
at it.
something our listeners may not be familiar with is what we call a rebound in bodybuilding. So, you look absolutely amazing on show day if you nail your peak correctly, and you are dry. You don't have any water weight on you. Your muscles are full. You look amazing. You're in. That's why they call it, peak week. Is you're peaking. You're at your peak level of
Yes.
fitness, of aesthetics. So, there is a delayed response to all the crazy shit that you do during peak week.
That's right.
And that's what we typically call a rebound. And some people have worse rebounds than others. Some people have them not so bad. It just kind of depends on, like different factors, like how crazy was your peak week? Did you cut off water? Did you like take water pills? Did you, like people do all sorts of crazy things. Did you go crazy post show? So I'm curious, how was your rebound? I know we talked a little bit about this, and something else that people listening may not realize is traveling, flying will also contribute to your rebound.
Sure. So we spoke last episode on my show recap. So I did take that over-the-counter Midol bloat relief for 2 days around my show because I was trying to fight off PMS symptoms, and that is a over-the-counter diuretic. So I definitely rebounded to it. Sunday and Monday after my show, I looked a bit like a water balloon because I was rebounding from being on the plane, drinking water again without, any diuretic blocking it. And I looked a bit like a water balloon, but it only lasted like a day and a half. And by early last week, I was totally back on it, and honestly looking better than I did on my show day, which is also common in bodybuilding because it's really hard to nail the look, especially like your first show of a season. I feel like I was a little flat on stage. I think that Midol bloat relief had something to do with it. I also had a little bit of water on me. I was fighting a period. So I had a few factors contributing to me not being like my crispest, hardest self on stage that day. I still looked good enough to win, which was great. But I kind of looked better as the week went on last week, and I was eating a bit more, and I was like filling out, and I felt like I looked like pretty good. I think I sent you some photos, but it was short-lived because I did take a few days off and eat whatever I wanted. Rebound, like I said, it hasn't been that bad. I feel pretty good today. I had a bad reaction. I told Brooke all about this, and I told the people in my broadcast channel about this too. But I had a drink on Sunday that I don't normally have, and I reacted very poorly to it. My whole body blew up like a balloon. I have Crohn's disease, which is an autoimmune disease. I am in remission, but I still have it. So I obviously triggered it, obviously. So I had a bit of a bad rebound this past weekend, but it's okay. I'm feeling a lot better today. It's Tuesday and back at it. So my rebound on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a 6 in success. It could have been an 8. My parents visiting the weekend after probably was not ideal. I thought I would be stricter with my food, to be honest, when I planned that trip. But the way it sort of worked out, I was like, meh, I might be in prep another 2 or 3 months here. Let me just kind of let loose a little bit. So that's on me. Time will tell if it really affected me or not, but it's okay. And part of growing in this sport and maturing in this sport is also being realistic with it. This is just a hobby for me. I will never make money off of bodybuilding. This is a hobby. I do it to have fun. I do it to challenge myself and look great for a little while. And I love the whole process of prep. I do love show day, but I love the process of prep. So as long as I'm doing all of those things, that's all that really matters to me. So I have to keep it into perspective with my real life. My mom isn't well. It was a weekend with them. I didn't want to just be eating garden salad for 3 days. And it was more important to me to, share meals with them and have like a more relaxed time with them and not be so rigid. And that was worth it to me. So if it cost me a few weeks in my prep, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too. I think it's important to keep things into perspective. I was thinking about that today, actually making another video for what I eat in a day. And I was basically, I have this big event this weekend with Veg Nutrition, my sponsor, and I'm super anxious about it. One, because I'm meeting like all these cool people that I've looked up to for so long, like Nimai Delgado and Natalie Matthews. So I'm totally gonna fangirl. But aside from that, it's just I'm out of my environment. I'm going to be in a huge time difference. And it's going to be a challenge. I normally wouldn't travel during prep if I didn't have to, but this is such a great opportunity that I have to.
You
so
need to do it.
I need to do it. I'm not going to miss it. And I'm the same way. Like, worst case scenario, let's say I'm holding 10 pounds of water, like whatever. If I have to push my show back out like another week or two, then it's worth it. It's worth it. I'm competing as an amateur. There's national shows all year. It's still early in the year. There are some things that are just more important. So,
that's right.
If this was the Olympia, it would be different, but we're not there yet.
Exactly. So, it's really important to, you have to take contest prep seriously. You have to prioritize it. But at the same time, you can't go into debt for bodybuilding. You can't ruin your career for bodybuilding. You can't ruin your relationships for bodybuilding. Instead of saying can't, you should not, is what I mean to say. You should not. This is a hobby and supposed to provide joy. So you need to make sure that the other things that are truly important, 365, not contest prep, which is a temporary situation, remain the priority. Veg is your sponsor. They've been great to you. And it will be really good for you to network with all of the other vegan athletes on the team. So it's important. And again, you've got shows you could do all summer.
Yes.
So if the travel, if social settings, whatever, throw you off your game a little bit, it's okay. And you'll just regroup when you're back home. And that's it.
Yep. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I'm glad you didn't rebound terribly.
Not terrible. I give myself a B minus. Wasn't quite a B or a B plus. It could have been a little better, but that's okay. Every time I learn, and it's all good. So what about you? How are you doing? 8 weeks out now?
Yeah, I'm about 7 to 8 weeks out.
Okay.
I would really like to do the St. Pete Pro. I really have my eye on that show now. Mostly because the location, my boyfriend has family down there. So I figured, we could visit his family. We could make a trip out of it, go to the beach. And it would be a good experience. It would be a really good experience. And they have great photos, Gilco footage. So I have my eye on that show. I'd really like to do that one. Worst case scenario, if I have to pick another show, I will, but I'd really like to do that one. So yes, I would be about 7 to 8 weeks out if I'm doing St. Pete and Universe. So I've kind of been stuck in the 150s. I had a prep low last week and then I bounced back up, you know how it is. So
you had your period last week, right?
I did.
And I did too, by the way. So we were synced, even though we're nowhere near each other on the map. But I ended up getting mine last week. So it was a solid week late, which has been happening to me this contest prep and my one last year, that my cycles instead of 30 days were more like 35 to 40 days. They sort of were longer. So you had your period last week. Well, that always has something to do with the scale, of course. So can't
Yes.
beat yourself up too much about it, but you
Yeah.
should be coming off all the menstrual symptoms now, right?
Yes, and I've been dropping back down. So like
Okay.
today I was down again, but
Good.
yeah, my period, I was nervous I wasn't going to get my period, but I was like, I don't really feel like I'm lean, like that lean enough to miss my period. I did end up getting it. It was 6 days late. I was actually really relieved that I got it, because I'm like, okay, well, I'm healthy, like everything's still functioning. It was really late, but that's okay.
Hmm.
But I definitely feel like it being so late played a role. And so I was having some water issues. Regardless,
Definitely.
it's all got to go. And then, whether it's water or body fat, like it's all got to go. So I also have this photo shoot this weekend that I want to look good for. So we went ahead and adjusted my macros. So I did get a big drop in carbs. I was at 180 on training days. Now I'm at 140. And my low,
And that's a whole serving. So that
that's huge.
you're gonna feel that, because a serving of carbs is usually like 150 calories, somewhere between 30 and 40 grams of carbs. I'd consider that a serving. So like a quarter cup of rice, 2 ounces of pasta, etc. That's like a serving of carbs. So 40
Yeah.
grams of carbs is an entire serving. So you're gonna feel that.
Yeah, it's a
Where
meal for sure. Like usually
where did you pull it from?
my dinner. So I just am not going to have a carb with my dinner. I'm just going to have veggies and a protein,
Hmm.
and that's it, because
Yeah.
that's just the easiest way to do it. And my coach said that. My coach said, you're gonna be hungry this week. Like you're gonna feel this. Just be ready for it. And
Hmm.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it, Mr. Krabs. I'm feeling it. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Already. Like
It's
very
so
hungry.
funny. Maybe we should talk quickly about how in a fat loss phase, um, most bodybuilders agree, and let's see if you agree with me, that when your macros change, when your food changes, when there's a drop, those first 2 days are the worst. That's that you feel it immediately. So 1 or 2 days of really quite hungry, and then usually it levels out until the next drop. Would you say that that's usually how it works for you,
I
or
feel
it
like
kind
it
of
takes me like a week, honestly. It like I have to
everybody's
really
different,
push.
and I'm sorry for you. It's
I
for me,
know.
it's usually about 2 days. So like I had my 3 days off, and yesterday, Monday, I was back on my bullshit, and I was starving. Like it was like a level 10 hunger. It was also combined with like that stomach ache from my flare. So like it was kind of like a mixed hunger and stomach ache, but I was so hungry. Luckily, today's day 2. I'm a little bit better. I am was the little nibbly though this afternoon. I
Yeah.
resisted the urge, but I was nibbly, more nibbly than I was last week. But
Yeah.
anyway, so you pulled it from dinner. That's typically what I do too. I try and pull from the end of the day, because I do feel like, going to bed with less food in your stomach does help the body with the process of leaning out.
Yeah, and I just like
So,
I do all my activity mostly in the morning. I do fasted cardio, I train early in the day, and then I've got to work
mhm.
all day. So like I have to have my carbs early in the
Yeah.
day, or else I'm just not going to get through it. So I felt like that would be the easiest way to do it. And so here we go. Here we
So
go.
what was dinner last night?
Dinner last night was just the soy-free tofu, the Big Mountain soy-free tofu. I make it like a scramble
Hmm.
and just put it on a salad, like iceberg lettuce. I do bell peppers, onions, mushrooms, tomatoes.
Hmm.
I mean, it's definitely better.
Living the dream.
Yeah, it's definitely better with carbs, but it gets
Yeah.
the job done.
Yeah, that's okay. All right. Well, you're doing the thing.
Doing the
Um,
thing. My steps are the same. My cardio is the same, which I'm very happy about, because that was my biggest concern going into this weekend. The food's going to be fine. Like I'm bringing a ton of food with me. Veg is buying
mhm.
us food from Whole Foods, so I have no issues with the food at all. Worst case scenario, I'm going to be hungry, but that's fine. Um, but the activity, I was like, oh my God, if he gives me like another 20 minutes of cardio or another like 1,000 steps, like I'm really going to be
Yeah.
stressed out. So I'm glad it was a macro change.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I think I'm going to plug in a check-in photo here so everybody can see, but I feel like you look 8-ish weeks out. I think you need to get this travel out of your system.
Yeah.
And I think from 6 weeks out and on, you're going to be on a pretty downward slope. That's how my body usually is. I sort of don't really look all that different, usually like between 16 and 8 weeks. I sort of like, I'm definitely leaning out, but I don't quite look all that different. And usually that last 6 weeks, and you've been witness to two of my preps super closely now, right? My last 6 weeks, I just all of a sudden am like, so,
Yeah.
and I struggle with like not keeping fullness and retaining tissue, which is a work in progress for me. And, every time I'm going to get a bit better. And honestly, your body, the longer you lift, the more dense your muscle becomes. So honestly, every year that goes by, this process will be a little bit different than it was the year before if you do it yearly or every other year. So
Yeah.
I think you're doing everything correctly, optimized. Just get this travel out of your system and we'll see how it goes after that. So next week we'll do a little update and see how your trip went. And we can't wait to hear about your veg trip, and you can report back and we can plug in some photos maybe for the people and everything. So
Yes, definitely.
good. All right. So any more prep updates, or should we go to our topic for today?
Yeah, let's do our Q&A. We have some Q&As from Belinda's story. You guys submitted some questions, so we're going to answer your questions on today's episode.
Yes. So thank you everybody that sent in messages. Really appreciate it. We were going to put them on both of our stories, but I got so many on mine that we just did mine, and we'll save Brooks for another time. So I have them all on my phone here. I'll read them out loud and I'll also plug them into the editing. Okay. So here's the first one. How did you get into bodybuilding and what drives you in the sport? You go first.
So for me, I had always admired bodybuilding, but in my head, I thought I wasn't disciplined enough to do the diet. I was like, I can lift, I can do the cardio, I can, run myself into the ground, but I can't do the diet. And I had a lot of people tell me I should compete. I like people at the gym, friends. They were like, you have a great physique. You really should try it. Like, just see how you do. And so, other people seeing that in me made me start to believe in me too. And I kind of started working with a coach and started moving in that direction. And then at that time, that was 2021. I was in this really abusive, controlling relationship, and he would not let me compete. I wasn't allowed to have a male coach and like all this crazy stuff. Ended up leaving him in 2022. And then that's when I started competing. And it was kind of like I don't want it to sound like a revenge body thing. It wasn't really about like, I'm going to get hot and do a competition. It was like, I'm going to do all the things that he kept me from doing. And I'm going to live my life on my terms and to the fullest. Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Thank
Really
you.
proud of you.
I couldn't have done a bodybuilding competition in that situation. There's no way. It never would have happened. It would have been sabotaged. So I was like, I'm going to get my life together and I'm going to compete. I'm going to go to all these posing clinics. I'm going to make friends. I'm going to try a new gym and just start my life over. And
It's
so
amazing.
that's what I did. Yeah.
It's amazing. I'm really proud of you. And question. So who was like the first bodybuilder you saw? Because what happens from like you're just a gym girl and you're lifting? How did you even like learn about bodybuilding?
So Francielle, the Olympia wellness queen, was actually the first woman that I saw that I was like, Damn, that is
Okay.
impressive.
So she came onto your feed on Instagram or something?
Yes.
Got
Yes.
it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I am asking you that because a lot of people, for example, I am like the only bodybuilder that so many people that know me have ever met. Like I'm the only person that they've ever come in contact with that does competitive bodybuilding. Um, so I always like hearing like from other competitors, like where was the transition from just being a gym chick to being like, okay, whoa, bodybuilding, competitive bodybuilding. You know, I mean, being on a stage, you don't just mean posing in your gym. Um, so you saw Franciele Matos, who's 3 or 4 time Miss Wellness Olympia. So you saw her on your feed and you were like, wow, I want to learn about that. And then you kind of figured it out from there. Got it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was so impressed. And
Yeah.
I the whole being on stage freaked me out. And then when
Mm-hmm.
I saw her and I just like how amazing she was and all that muscle, I was like, oh my God,
Oh yeah. Well,
I want
she
to
is
try this.
stunning. She is
Yeah.
stunning. You probably didn't realize that, you know, she's 0.0000001% of
Yeah.
population could look like that. Because that's something that new competitors don't realize is like this sport is really, really, really hard. So
Yeah.
the difference between bodybuilding and like other sports is that bodybuilding only exists in the adult world. Like no one's really a teenager and competes. I mean, it can happen, but it's really rare. It's usually a sport that people pick up in adulthood. So they think that they can just get started and be a pro and be the best like instantaneously, and that is a real newbie um, faux pas. And then the longer you're in it, the more you realize that actually those Olympia winners or people that are on the Olympia stage, the Olympia is like the Super Bowl of bodybuilding. It's the biggest competition of the year, the most prestigious. To be on the Olympia stage is very, very difficult. I mean, if there's 200, I think there's 200 new bikini pros a year worldwide. IFBB bikini pros, there I think there's between 150 and 200 a year. You maybe will hear the name of less than 5 of those in the years to come every year. Like we're talking very, very, very difficult to be at the top of the sport. And because I think it's a sport that people find in adulthood later in life, they think like they could just lift a little bit and they'll win and they'll look like that. But it doesn't really work like that. Like all professional sports, it's very, very hard to be on the top, very challenging. And then bodybuilding takes genetics into account more than any other sport, right? Because the way you look has a lot to do with your genetic structure and your genetic abilities. So even though you might follow the same diet as Franciele, you might do the same training as her, your chances of looking like her are very, 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 very slim because she just has the perfect combination to look like that. And anyway, okay, so that's how you found about bodybuilding. That's what kind of got you into it. So for me, my story is a little different. So when I started dating my husband almost 10 years ago, so he loves bodybuilding. He's a bodybuilding fan. He's been following it since he was in high school, loves the sport of bodybuilding, knows a lot about all the top open bodybuilders from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Like he knows his stuff. So we were dating a few months and he made me watch Generation Iron. And Generation Iron is a famous bodybuilding documentary. And I thought it was like the weirdest thing I'd ever seen. I thought they were so freaky. I was like, oh my God, who would want to look like that? That's so weird. You don't want to look like that, do you? Oh my God. I was like really freaked out. And I was just getting serious in the gym then. Like I was lifting and everything, but I wasn't as serious as I am now, but I was getting into it, right? So that's like how I first heard about bodybuilding. Then a few years later, when I started to learn how to eat properly, vegan sports nutrition, um, I took my weightlifting to the next level, and I was really starting to look fitter and more in shape. I had a coach, I had a powerlifting coach, and he told me that I was in the wrong sport. And he was like, Belinda, you're so disciplined. You should be a bodybuilder, not a power lifter. And I was like, really? Me? Because I didn't look like how I look now. And, but I had a notebook with all of my lifts, and I would write all my notes on all my lifts. And I am very detail oriented. And so I think he saw that and was like, okay, you're like in the wrong thing. So then, I was like, wow, that I don't even like know if I could ever do that. And around the same time he said that to me, his girlfriend, who's a bikini competitor, was in contest prep. And so I started asking her about it. And I saw her transformation during her prep, and I was so like amazed by it. And I got curious, and I asked her if she thought I could do it. And she said, yeah, you could do it. And she coached me for a while there, and that's how I got started. So basically
Awesome.
somebody suggested it to me. And then I saw a bikini competitor going through the process, and I got curious, and then I got into it. And so that's how I got started into competing. And that was 2021 when all of that happened. And I got on stage in 2022.
Love it.
Yeah, so that's that. Second part of the question was
What drives you in the sport?
what drives you? So what drives you to do this crazy hobby?
Oh God, a lot of things. A lot of things. I mean, there definitely is a small part of me that does it for the vegan community. I feel like we have a lot of people who look up to us, and we are the small minority of vegans who are willing to go through this craziness. So,
I agree with you. I also feel a pull to like put myself out there
yeah.
to like be a role model and an example of like what is possible if you take all of this stuff about lifting and nutrition to the next level. I don't expect people to be like me. I also would want to make sure that anyone that would want to compete would do it responsibly, of course, but I like putting myself out there and showing them like it's possible. Yeah, for
Oh yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So what else?
That's a big piece for me. And then also I absolutely fell in love with it my first prep. Like I said, it was kind of like this rebirth for me after going through this like really, really hard year where I felt suppressed and suffocated. And then I just got to be myself. And then the cool thing about prep is just you learn so much about yourself, about your strengths,
Totally.
about your weaknesses. I feel like every prep I grow as a person, and
Absolutely.
it's just I just feel like a better person every time I go through this, and I push myself and I challenge myself, and it makes other hard things in life not feel as hard. And so I love it. I love the strength and the discipline, and really like the love for myself, because it's just
Yeah.
amazing, like to you get yourself through this really hard journey, and you can't help but, no matter how you place, look back and say like, damn, I did that. Like that was really hard. Not a lot of people can do that, and I did that. So
I agree with you completely.
yeah.
Like um I also went through a pretty abusive relationship when I was in my 20s, more than one actually. I was getting hit personal life, my work life. I had a few years there where things were just like really, really shitty for me. Um, and something that's amazing with contest prep is that you're completely in control of
Yes.
like your outcome. You're not in control of the placing, of course, and necessarily like your final look, because Mother Nature will play its part that day, of course, but you're in control of like getting from point A to point B. The decisions you make every day, your commitment to your training, the tough decisions on being disciplined with your nutrition, like that's all you. Like no one else can do it for you. It's 100% you. And when, especially as a female, you go through years and years and years of everybody tearing you down, telling you what to do, not letting you like express yourself how you want to, how you want to live your life and what you want to do. It's really very fun and amazing for a few months a year to just kind of do your thing.
Yeah.
And like have your little assignments every day, cross things off the list. So people do that challenge called 75 hard. Have you heard of it?
Yes.
Where it's the 75 days, you exercise twice a day, you don't have alcohol. There's like a few rules for it. And they love that feeling of when they finish it. Like, oh my God, I did this really hard thing. I can't believe I did it. I'm so proud of myself. And that's what contest prep is, except longer. Women are usually in contest prep 5, 6, 7 months on average. And of course, the diet is a lot more intense. So you're accomplishing a really hard thing, and it's amazing. And in life, when so many things are not in our control, the news isn't in our control, the government's not in our control, the decisions of our family and friends and loved ones not in our control, but the decisions we make every day in contest prep and the effort we put in every day in contest prep, that's in our control.
Yeah.
And it's really fun to see like the fruition of your hard work. And
I do love that too.
And it's different than like working on your business, like you as an online coach, like making reels and doing social and engagement and trying to get customers and clients and sales, and you're putting in all of this effort, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Instead, contest prep, like you do the thing, you will look great at the end. You might not necessarily win, but you'll look great and you'll have really accomplished a very hard thing at the end. You don't have to rely on anybody else. You're not waiting for a client to pay their bill. You're not waiting for somebody to send in their check-in. I'm not waiting for my boss to get back to me. Like I am just doing the thing. And it's a really amazing thing. And I really feel when I'm in contest prep, like I'm my best version of myself.
Me too.
I really prioritize like my goals. I have a very clear plan every day of like what I must do to accomplish what I want to accomplish. And I know it might seem like so vain and narcissistic, like just this goal after 5 months to look great for a day or two. But I actually do a lot of other things in contest prep because my time is so valuable in contest prep because you're very, very busy in contest prep. Like all of my decisions are important. Like I have all my tasks I need to do, all of like my admin things. I don't know, like let's say my taxes or I don't know, dealing with some insurance claim that I need to deal with. Like I have all of my things are organized every day. And I know exactly what I have to do every day. I execute my life like on such a high level for those few months that it's really quite amazing, really. And I feel it's like a high, really. And when contest prep is over, I sort of lose that a little bit because I feel pressure to be less rigid because society like makes you feel like the high level of discipline you had for months is like not socially acceptable. And you need to let loose and live. And I agree with that to an extent. But if also living an organized way and functioning like at a very high level, if that's what makes me happy and I feel my best when I live that way, I should always be like that. So that's something for me to consider when my contest prep is over. Last year, I remember I had my triathlon 6 weeks after I competed. So I was able to keep it going for like another 6 weeks. like just keep that really high level of like intensity of training, nutrition, making sure I have time in the day to do all the things I need to do. And
Yeah.
it really helped me have, like, I think, a very healthy post show experience, because I had another thing on the calendar, another goal that I could work towards. And then something that I need to get better at is having goals that are outside of fitness. I would love to have that same level of execution and intensity and passion for other things besides besides just fitness. Fitness is what drives me, but I do want to work on, other things that are similar. And I think you feel the same way. You and I have talked about that. Like we love being in prep and we're enjoying being in prep, but prep can't be forever. And we have other things we want to do with the rest of our year. so,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
the type A, I'm very type A, and I realize that, and that's why
I
I
think
love prep so much.
sorry to interrupt you, Brooke, but I think all competitors are type A. I don't know any physique athlete that's not a type A, because you have to be a type A to do this sport. You
Yeah,
have to have like a very firm understanding of like your goal, what you want to do, and like take no prisoners, do what you need to do to get there. Like, sure, are there days I might not be able to do my cardio? Yes, but 95% of the time it gets done. No
yeah,
matter how tired I am, no matter how much like I've got going on. And that is really different from a non-competitor often. Like most people will just say they're tired, they're busy, I didn't have time to do my cardio, and they won't do it. But a competitor in contest prep, you won't hear them say that.
right. And I also think it's just amazing what the body can do. Like I like going through my first prep, it just made me respect the human body so much
Totally.
more. It's just really amazing. It's
Yeah.
really amazing what the body can do, and it can take you way past your mind. And I just think that's
Yeah.
so incredible. And it's like humbling every time I do a prep.
Absolutely. I agree. We love prep. We're
Yeah.
not going to be in prep forever, but we love it. So let's maybe do one or two more, because this episode's getting long again, because Brooke and I can talk forever. um, okay, let's do this one. This is also a deep one. And then we'll save the next ones maybe for next episode or the one after that. Oh, we'll see what we want to do next episode. But anyway, okay, second question. When you told your loved ones you wanted to begin bodybuilding, were their reactions positive? And if not, how did you navigate that?
For me, my mom is always like, go for it, do what makes you happy. And my mom has come to every show I've done so far. My dad loves Arnold, huge bodybuilding fan, so he thought it was awesome. Um, so I mean, really, I mean, I've had a good amount of support. My partner, when I first started competing, like I mentioned previously, he was not about it. But then obviously I left him, and then I was single while I was competing that entire year. And now I have my boyfriend, who is pretty supportive. His main concern is just that I stay healthy, because he knows that last time it wrecked me post show. So he's supportive, but he's always like kind of in the back of my mind, make sure you stay healthy, don't kill yourself, listen to your body. But I've really mostly had all positive reactions, and very supportive, very good support system.
That's great. So for me, um, well, I'm lucky in that my husband is a bodybuilding fan. He's the one that first mentioned bodybuilding to me. He loves bodybuilding. He loves fitness. He's a gym guy. He is not a competitor, but he loves it. He respects it. He follows it. He loves impressive physiques. And he's been with me for almost 10 years. When we were together, I was many, many sizes bigger than I am now. So he's been with me through thick and thin, literally. And he's been so supportive of me this whole time. Like, he's loved me no matter what I've looked like, and no matter how much I've changed over the years. Like, I think a lot of partners have a hard time with their partner really changing the way they look. I mean, I went from an average looking person to a pretty unique looking person over this time we've been together. And he's handled it so well. And they say Aquarius are not jealous people. And I would say that that's true with him and I. He's not a jealous guy. He's really just kind of easy and cool. Like, he doesn't look at me being in a bikini on stage or like on my Instagram posting updates as anything more than bodybuilding. He doesn't see it as anything different. And I love him for that. Like, I love that I have a supportive partner who just kind of lets me do my thing. I will say that in contest prep, it's very common to get a little cranky and hangry when you're deep in a calorie deficit. Every prep, I've gotten better. My first one, my attitude needed some work. That last month or two, I was really feisty, and my behavior was honestly like kind of unacceptable. And I reflected on that. I learned from it. My last prep, I did such a better job, really. Like, it was my goal of my last prep in 2024 to not have anybody in my life feel like I was in prep. Like, only I wanted to feel the prep. No one else needed to feel it. And I did a really good job. The only time it got hairy, Brooke might remember, we had no air conditioning for a few weeks, and there was a heat wave in Chicago. So my apartment was 105 degrees, and I was like a few weeks out. And that was not a good week. Not a good week. We survived.
I think anybody would have been feisty with no air conditioning.
We survived.
Honestly.
I was like a few weeks out. I was lean and mean and cranky, and it was not good. But other than that, I had a really good prep, and I thought my behavior was great. And this year, I think I've done a really, really good job. And him and I actually spoke about it recently. And he said there's only been one or two times I've been a little cranky, but I've been doing a really good job, and I'm proud of that for myself. So I'm really lucky that my partner is very supportive of me. Yeah. My brother is my best friend. He is super supportive. Like, I think he listens to this podcast. His wife, my sister-in-law, she listens to it too. Like, they are so supportive of me. They've been to my show. Like, they're great. And they like actually ask about things. They like ask how many weeks out I am, how I'm feeling. They accept me when I come over with like my diet, and they're like easy, and they're happy for me. And I love that. And I'm really lucky. My parents, my mom isn't well, so my extracurricular activities are like not really of a concern to them, but they seem supportive, but they're really like disconnected from it, and they don't connect the dots. Unfortunately, I've had several family members and people and friends in my life distance themselves from me in my fitness journey. I don't know if it's necessarily related to competing, but there are definitely a handful of people in my life over the past 5 to 7, 3, 5, 7 years in my fitness journey that have decided I'm no longer for them. I can't control that. And I'm not going to be for everybody, and everybody's not going to be for me. And all I can do is just keep living my best life and do what makes me happy, do what keeps my family, my core people in the best way, keep them healthy, happy. And that's all that really matters to me. And if I'm not going to be for other people, it is what it is. And that's life, So yeah. That's part of a fitness journey. People come and go. It's very hard for people that knew you a different way to see you in a new way. especially in a fitness and health journey, because it's so connected to food and drink, that people sometimes can take it as like a personal insult, that like maybe because you're not eating and drinking the way you used to, like you're, giving a middle finger to them. And it's not the case. Everybody is allowed to make their own choices that are best for them. And people need to do what is best for them. And somebody's individual choice is not a reflection on somebody else's choice. But it takes people different points in their own personal journeys to come to terms with that. So I just do the best I can with the tools I've been given and keep on trucking. So for the people that haven't been supportive, some have addressed it with me directly, and I'm not going to break confidentiality, so I'm not really going to go into it, but I've had some hard conversations with some people over the years, and all I can do is just keep doing my thing. I love fitness. I love taking care of myself. Like, these are my favorite things. It's what brings me peace and joy. So if that's not going to be for other people, then I can't really control that. So
yeah,
that's that story.
I agree.
Yeah. Anyway, but that's part of the journey. I'm sure you've had clients come to you, and I've had clients come to you telling me about, how they've lost some weight, they're starting to look a little bit different, and it's getting hard to retain some relationships. And, it's part of the journey. Change is hard for people. Change is hard.
Yeah.
So the
Sure.
people that truly support you will be by your side. And then the other people that don't, they either can support you or not. And that's really their choice. And you can't take it personally, because that other person is dealing with their own things that have nothing to do with you. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, keep doing you.
Keep doing you.
All
Let's
right.
do one more fun one, I think. Let's do a fun light one, and then we'll call it. How about we do
Have
you
you
get
ever
nervous?
binged?
Oh, that I think that's a heavier one. We'll
Oh,
do that one
really?
another time. Yeah, we'll do that one another time. Um, how about, do you get nervous on stage?
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh my God. That is the worst part for me. I wish I could just go like stand in a room and then like nobody else is there. The judges they just look at me and then they tell me like how I did. I hate being on stage. That is the worst part. Like
You mean you're not comfortable being in a thong bikini in front of hundreds of people?
And then add the heels. Oh my
staring at your
God.
physique?
No, like it's just mostly I feel like the lights are just blinding up there, like you can't see anything, and it's just weird. I'm just not used to being in that environment. And then like I'm not used to being in heels. I do not wear heels. I'm a gym girl. And so that always freaks me out. I mean, I've never fallen, I've never tripped, but like, oh, of course, I feel like that's always in the back of your head. What if I trip and I look like an idiot?
Right.
So yeah, being on stage is like the worst part for me. And I'm always like sweaty and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to sweat off my tan. Like, it's just,
It,
yeah.
it definitely takes practice, and it takes some getting used to. I shockingly am not nervous when I'm on stage. So Brooke and I have so much in common. And in this one, I think we're a little bit different. I'm not nervous on stage. Like I'm totally fine up there. I will say it is terrifying to like be in a thong bikini in front of hundreds of people. Like it's uncomfortable. And but I know why I'm doing it. And I'm like, everybody else is doing it too. It's not like I'm the only one. So I'm not really nervous when I'm up there. I like it. I have fun. I've often been given feedback like I have such a big smile when I'm on stage, and I look so happy to be there, because I think I really am. Because when I'm back there, a lot of people look really great. Plenty of people look a lot better than me. But I'm really proud of myself that I got there and how great I look. I know I've said that I say this every podcast, but I didn't used to always look like this. I was like almost 50 pounds heavier than I am now, a size 12, I think, at my largest. And it's just incredible what I've been able to transform into. So I think I'm just happy to be there. Happy that like I look as good as I do, and I might not have the most muscle, I might not be the most conditioned, I might not be the hardest, the crispest, I might not have the best abs, but you know, I'm happy. And
I wish I felt that way. I mean, I'm
so
happy to be there, and I love this. I love show day. I just hate the 15 seconds I'm on stage. It's like,
so I think another thing that is different too is the comfort level in high heels, because I can definitely see if you are not a heels wearer, it's probably very terrifying. Instead, for me, I was a club kid all my 20s, and I was in heels 4 or 5 nights a week until like 6 a.m. for many years there. So I have no problem in heels and high shoes. Like I could probably run a mile in my stage heels, honestly. I'd hurt and I have to go to the hospital after, but I could probably do it. So I could be in heels forever. So I can see that's a little bit different. So a trick that some posing coaches give if you're not used to wearing heels is to do like chores in the house in your heels, like cook some meals in heels, like do laundry in heels, not all the time, but just like to get used to moving around in heels. So maybe that's something you could start to try. And who
oh
knows,
yeah,
maybe your
oh
boyfriend will
yeah.
appreciate
No, I've done that, and he loves it. Yeah, he thinks it's hilarious.
it. Yeah,
He
it's really
enjoys it.
silly. But yeah, but anyway, like all things, practice will only make you better. So once you get back on stage, you'll dust off the cobwebs a bit, and you'll probably compete more than once this year. So by the second one, I'm sure this year you'll probably be less nervous than the first, for
Yeah,
sure.
hopefully.
I hope so. All right, my dear. I think we should call it because I think this has been another long one. And we'll touch on the rest of these questions either next episode or the one after that. Brooke and I will decide what we'll do for episode 5. And yeah, so thanks for tuning in, everybody. This was fun.
Yes, thanks, guys. We will catch you next time.
Have a great rest of your night. Bye.